Ụtụtụ ọma, welcome back to this channel. My name is Somto, and of course, we discuss Igbo customs, Igbo culture, Igbo spirituality. So, today, an interesting culture that we're going to dissect or we're going to learn about today is Omu. Omu. Now, over time, we've seen women who dresses like kings. We see them dressing with red caps. We see them attending masculine festivals and being held, with higher positions like a man. So we see these kinds of women, and many men within our society have said, "Oh, this is nonsense," or "This is an abomination." Now, these men do not understand who an Omu is or the position of an Omu. So I saw this explanation by Her Royal Majesty Omu ONYEMAECHI. So today I'm going to be reading out what she said about an Omu. Now remember, the practice of an Omu is not done by every Igbo community. Omu basically is practiced in Onitsha, in Delta, I think even in Aba, Ghana. So we're going to learn about who an Omu is and the capacity that she's serving as an Omu. Now, Omu Onyemechi said that in her community within the Enuan region where she comes from, the Omu is usually selected by the deities, by the gods. And the elders of the land, they often go wide and far to consult with these deities so that they would be able to choose and reveal who the next Omu would be. And the elders would now go to the family of the woman to inform her people that their daughter has been chosen to be the Omu by the deities or the gods. Now, if the woman chosen by the Omu, by the gods, to be the Omu is married, then her marriage will be dissolved and she would have to go back to her father's house. This is because an Omu becomes a man and can no longer cohabit with a man. So she would have to return to her father's house and would now bear her family name. If she has no house, the communities are expected to build one house for her. This is because the Omu becomes the mother of the community. The Omu is also free to marry wives because she's now seen as a man. These wives can now have children by sleeping with other men, and those children born to the Omu would become her biological children and would now bear her own ancestral family name and not the names of the men that impregnated her wives. Because in Igbo culture, what signifies marriage or what says that the person is married is the bride price. What defends paternity is bride price. Now, the Omu is the custodian of all the deities and shrines in the land. She is also the head of all the women and children in the land, and she's also seen as the leader of all the markets in the land. The Omu also has her own market day when she comes into the market fully dressed in her own royal regalia. She opens the market and she prays, and it's from the levies and the taxes that the market women pays to her that she is being sustained with her and her cabinet. Now, her functions are 20% physical and 80% spiritual. She is also seen as the spiritual guide of the land, and she also tells the Obi what the deities and the gods say. The Omo has her own cabinet and chiefs, just like the Obi, and she holds her own festivals and ceremonies too. In fact, the Omu must hold her own festival first before that of the Obi. Now, she's also seen as the mother of the member of the cabinet. Now, if the woman chosen to be an Omu refuses to accept the Omu position, then the town has no choice than to remain without an Omu until the death of the woman that was chosen to be the Omu. This is because a community cannot have two Omu alive or existing at the same time. Now, our ancestors were wise according to Omu Onyemechi OKONKWO. She said our ancestors were wise. They understood that women are higher than men within a spiritual hierarchy, and so they entrusted the spirituality of the community of the land to the woman Omu. They also understood that most cases that involves women, Okunad and Omuwan, were not fit for men to handle. So in such cases, those cases are being handled by the Omu, which is represented by a woman. ekwudelu nwaanyị nwaanyị ekpee ya, ekwudelu nwoke nwoke ekpee ya. That's the rationale. Now, men think in straitjacket forms, but women think in multiple ways. Therefore, they're able to see different perspectives and different angles to the problem. Now, she also celebrates her late mother and mentor, Her Royal Majesty Obi Mata Dunpo, who took it upon herself to revive this dying culture of OMU. She remains a light in the history of the OMU institution. And this was written by Her Royal Majesty OMU ONYEMAECHI OKONKWO. So this is what an OMU is. Now we need to understand that this practice differs from community to community, because in the Igbo cosmological system, no two communities have an exact cultural and spiritual practices. There are differences. So within the Delta, Onitsha, Aba, Ghana communities, now they would have different interactions and reverence and functions of the OMU. So this is how the Igbo culture is structured. But generally, an Omu is basically known as the woman king. Her function are majorly spiritual, motherly, and also she takes care of the market institution and the market system. She puts in rules and laws that should be obeyed in the market. Now, currently, with the federal government and every other parastatal dipping into the coffers of the market, the OMU institution is being deinstitutionalized and ignored, because those taxes and levies were what this OMU would feed on and would thrive on. So this is what an OMU means, or this is an interpretation of who OMU is within the Igbo cosmological culture and system. Yeah, guys. Yeah. So if you learned anything from my little expose, don't forget to follow my channels and also to leave a comment. If you have an interesting aspect to this Omo culture, you can also let me know in the comment section. Subscribe and have a wonderful day.